Hi, how are you? My name is Valerie, and we've met before. You know I tell stories. Today's story is how the turtle cracked his shell. Now, when I did my research, and I realized there were a lot of stories about the turtle and this shell. The one I'm going to tell you comes from the Iroquois people in the northeast part of the United States, where I live. So, the way the story goes is Turtle had a very smooth shell. Turtle was very, very smart and very, very curious. As Turtle grew up, when he was about 5 years old, he started to notice that his friend the geese always flew away south every year. He became very, very curious. What did they see? He wanted to know. So one spring when they came back, he asked them, "Tell me, what do you see when you fly south?" The geese looked at each other. We see many, many things. Why do you fly south? We fly south because it's warmer in the winter and we can get food. Oh, said Turtle, warmer, food, see things. This sounds very interesting, Turtle said. Well, can you take me with you? And the geese said, Turtle, no, we can't. You don't have wings. You can't fly. Turtle looked down and sure enough, he knew he didn't have wings. But that didn't mean he didn't want to know. Well, maybe you could figure out a way to take me with you, he said to the geese. We're sorry, Turtle. We can't take you with us, but we'll be back every spring. Okay, said Turtle. Okay. The geese flew south as they did every year. And every spring they came back. And every fall, Turtle would ask, "Can I come with you?" And every fall, the geese said, "No, Turtle, I'm sorry." Well, this went on for a number of years. Turtle really wanted to learn what they had seen. Turtle really wanted to explore. Well, after a few years, it came to that point again. The geese were getting ready to fly, and Turtle said, "Can I come with you?" And the geese looked at each other. Turtle, they said, Turtle, we have been thinking about you for a long time, and we think we have a way that you can go with us. Oh, really? Yes, Turtle. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get a very strong stick, and we're going to carry it in our claws. And then what you have to do is grab onto that stick with your strong jaw, and we will be able to fly you up and take you south with us. Wow. This was a great idea. It would work. Turtle was so happy. So when the day came to leave, that's what they did. They found a very strong stick and held it in their claws, and Turtle went up and bit onto it with his strong jaw and held on. And up, 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 Turtle started to move in the air as the geese were lifting him up. Turtle was so happy. He was going on an adventure. Everybody likes an adventure. And sure enough, Turtle, as they took him higher in the sky, Turtle looked down and saw all these wondrous trees and these huge forests. And he looked down and he saw water and he saw fish jumping in the water. And he looked down, he saw wondrous things he had never, ever, ever seen before. And Turtle got very, very excited. He couldn't say anything. He couldn't open his mouth, but he started to wail and wave his legs. But the geese didn't look. They couldn't see him. So he waved his legs more. And they still couldn't see him. And so he rolled his eyes. And they couldn't see what he was doing. He moaned, and they couldn't hear him. He waved his legs and rolled his eyes and moaned, and they couldn't hear him and see him at all. Oh, poor Turtle. He was so excited, and he wanted to share his excitement. Finally, they flew over this beautiful, beautiful land, and there was flowers and trees with different colors and reds and bright greens and golds. Turtle had never seen anything like that. And all he could do with all of its energy is try to keep his mouth closed. But it was too beautiful, and he was too excited, and so he opened his mouth. Ha! Ooh. Turtle let go of the stick, and he floated down through the sky. He came across a huge rock and hit it hard. Boom! Ooh. Turtle's shell hurt. It cracked. Turtle swam into the water, went down to the bottom and dug a deep hole and got into it and fell asleep. Turtle slept all winter long. And when he woke up and came out of the water, instead of having a smooth shell, his shell was bumpy. That's how Turtle cracked his shell. But you know something? Turtle was happy. He saw so many amazing things that he would never have seen before if he had not flown through the sky with his friends, the geese. That's my story. Believe it or not. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever flown through the air? Have you imagined flying through the air if you haven't done it before? What would you see? What do you think Turtle saw as he was moving through the air? What kind of trees did he see? What water would he see? What do you think he would see as he moved through the air? I want you to use your imagination and think about that. In the meantime, take care, smile, and I'll see you soon. The story that I have for you today is a story that comes from Nigeria, West Africa. It is called Why the Moon and the Sun Are in the Sky. Now, the way the story was told to me, that sun and moon lived right on Earth, and they walked around. Now, sun had a very, very, very good friend, water. And every day, sun would go and visit his friend, water, and they would talk for hours. One day, sun started to think about this. Water, he said, why don't you come and visit me in my compound, my home? I would love for you to see it. Water thought, this was a wonderful thing, but maybe it might not work. So Water said to Sun, thank you for the invitation, but are you sure you have enough room for me and all of my family and friends? Sun thought about it. Oh, you know what I could do, said Sun. I can build a larger compound, and that way you and all of your family and friends could come and visit. Wow, said Water. That would be extremely gracious of you. Yes. So Sun left, and he went back to the compound, and he talked to Moon about it. Moon was Sun's wife. When she heard about it, she loved it. Sun was happy. He was going to have his best friend, Water, come and visit. So he brought all the materials together, and he had it build a beautiful, beautiful compound. It took a little while, but when it was finished, he proudly told Water, it's ready. Please come visit me. And he waited. Water gathered himself up, and he started to flow over the earth to where Sun lived, his new compound. And he got there and he said, Sun, are you ready? Sun smiled. Yes, please come in. And that's what Water did. Water started to flow, and he flowed, and he flowed. All of the beautiful colors that was a part of who he was, the greens and the blues and the whites. And the water flowed and flowed and flowed. And with the water came his friends and family. The crabs came and the lobsters. And the little snails came in slowly. And the squid came in. All of the smaller animals that lived in water. They flowed into the compound. And soon, water had flowed up to Sun's ankles. Wow. Sun looked down and said, ooh, I'm glad that this is a big compound. Water said, can I bring more? Sun said, of course you can. And so water continued to flow. He flowed in further and further and further, and medium-sized animals came in. The catfish, oh, and the salmon and the bluefish came in. All of these wondrous, wonderful creatures that lived in water. Soon the water was up to the knees of both Sun and Moon. They looked at each other. Water said, "Can I bring more?" Sun and Moon looked at each other and they said, "Of course you can." And water flowed in. And this time, all of the larger animals came in. The sharks and the dolphins and the manatees, they all came in. And oh my goodness, no one had ever seen anything like this before. Soon the water was all the way up to Moon and Sun's waist. They looked at each other. Maybe we should go up to the top of the roof. They both agreed. This was a lot of water and a lot of water's creatures. So they moved up to the roof of their compound and said, "Water, please bring more. You are our friend." And water smiled and continued to flow in. More and more and more came in. Water with all of the beautiful things that were a part of water's creatures came in. Soon the water was lapping up and hitting against the roof. Sun and Moon looked at each other and said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Sun and Moon looked at each other. They loved having water visit. "Oh," said Sun, "I know what we can do. We can rise up together. We can move higher and higher and higher and higher up into the air. We can float up into the air and we can live in the sky. So that water and all of water's creatures and friends can live here." That was a radical idea. But they both agreed this was a great idea. And that's what they did. With all of their strength and power, they started to move up, 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 up in the air and up into the sky until Moon was in one end of the sky and Sun was in the other end of the sky, and they looked at each other and beamed and smiled, and both looked down at water. Water was very happy. He was glad his friends had invited them to their compound. There, all of his creatures and friends float around. They made it a beautiful place. And meanwhile, Sun continued to visit his friend Water every day. Every day they would visit and talk and laugh and sparkle at each other. This was a wonderful friendship. And every evening, Moon would look down on Water and smile. Water made her happy too. And this is why Sun and Moon live up in the sky with water and its creatures here on Earth. This is my story. Believe it or not. Wow. There are so many creatures that live in the water, so many creatures that are friends with water. I named a few of them. Do you think you can name more? Yes, I said sharks. Yes, I said dolphins. Yes, I said manatees. Do you know what a manatee is? Yes, I said crabs. And yes, I said snails. I didn't say lobster. I like lobster. I said catfish and squid. There are so many animals, almost more than you can count. Do you think you could name some more? Think about it. Find one of your favorite water creatures and make a picture of them. Don't forget, give them a name. I hope you like my story. I'll come back with some more. In the meantime, smile and take care. This is our story. Believe it or not.